Without further ado, I'm going to hand you over to Dr. Mani Ranganthan to really start the formal part today, just in terms of some thank you from the broad parts of general practice. So, Dr. Mani, over to yourself.
Thank you, Tim. Good evening, everyone. I'm Dr. Mani. I'm one of the GPs and clinical lead in Wigan. General practice in the Wigan Borough is delighted to support the hosting of this event to celebrate the successful collaboration between our local NHS staff, including our federations, the local authority, and our wider partners over the last 12 months to deliver the 4 vaccination programs across the Wigan Borough, which have saved lives and protected our neighborhoods. In recognition, we would like to thank you all for your hard work and commitment in supporting the local vaccination clinics, week in and week out, whether you are a GP, nurse, admin staff, cleaner, manager, pharmacist, physiotherapist, volunteers, security, or those back office workers in practice who have all played their part in ensuring the vaccination clinics run safely and efficiently. As a collective, in the last 12 months, we have delivered 580,000 vaccination to our local population. All staff and volunteers at the COVID clinics have treated our patients with great compassion and dignity, showing them that they care whilst being vaccinated, making us extremely proud of the delivery of our COVID-19 vaccination program. Staff and volunteers
Mani, I think your sound may have gone.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, hear you now. Yeah, thank you. Sorry, we lost you momentarily.
Sorry, I don't know what happened. Right. We are truly inspired by your personal commitment to making a difference in these unprecedented and challenging times. During this pandemic, all healthcare workers and volunteers sacrificed time away from their families and willingly stepped into an unfamiliar environment to provide a fantastic duty of care to save the lives of others. This is what it means to be an NHS hero. We would like to thank you for all your continued support and commitment and take this opportunity to wish each and every one of you very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We look forward to seeing you all safe and well, supporting our vaccination clinics in the early new year. Before I finish, I want to say something from the bottom of my heart. It's a bit overwhelming about the coincidence. This morning I've been tested positive for COVID-19 and I'm feeling a bit under the weather. But the situation would have been much worse if not for the vaccination I received over the course of last few months. So the vaccine saved many lives and will do so in the future. And all are possible because of the successful vaccination program like ours and people like you who made it possible and successful. So I want to take this opportunity to say my personal thank you to you all as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mani, and that's a really helpful, really touching openness there about how it's personally affected you and so forth. I'm going to ask Wendy to come in, Wendy Fairhurst, just to briefly introduce the choir, and then hopefully we're going to go back for a couple more songs before we come on to Councillor Molinette. So, Wendy.
Hi. Hi everyone. It's great to be here and see you all. It would have been lovely to be in person, but you know, we are where we are. You've already heard their wonderful singing. The Guild Singers are based in Chorley, but have got members all over this part of the Northwest. When asked to sing, the choir gave an overwhelming yes. Like all of us, they felt very passionate about saying thank you to all involved in this remarkable achievement. I, for one, will be joining in at the top of my voice, and we invite you all to do the same. Alexia, you better turn off all the mics.
You did a me then, Wendy. You did a me, so not me own, not on your own. There's a hot air ring, making spirits bright, but funny
Thank you. And again, that's very moving, beautiful music. So it's really great to hear that. So when the request went out to the whole of the country to start to vaccinate, Wigan General Practice absolutely recognised it could not do this alone. So we reached out to key partners, but to be fair, we were met the other way as General Practice with key partners coming to help and support us. And one of those really vital key partners was our local council with the Leisure Trust, which was within the council. And so it's only right and fitting and proper we ask Councillor Molyneux, leader of Wigan Council, just to say a few words and to give opportunity to express thanks from the council. So over to yourself, David.
Thanks, Tim. When you look at the agenda and you see you're following the choir, I feel a bit like the karaoke singer following the three tenors. I thought that was absolutely brilliant what we've heard tonight, and it was very fitting and very touching. And can I just say that one thing we are proud of in Wigan is the partnership working that we do have. Certainly with our medical colleagues, it's absolutely second to none. And I'm privileged to actually go and sit at GMCA, which is the Greater Manchester Authorities, and believe you me, Wigan does lead the way in its partnership working above any other authority within GM. And I think when the call went out very early on in the pandemic, I think we all feared how would we deal with it, how would we work together. And I think you can see that we have worked together so tremendously well. And I feel both honoured and privileged. I know the Chief Executive, Alison Mackenzie-Folan's on the call tonight as well. And we feel very honoured and privileged to be invited to this event tonight, because it is significant in thanking all you guys have been involved basically since day one of the rollout of the vaccination programme. And you're still being asked to go that extra mile again as we enter the fifth wave, if you want to call it that. And the outstanding work that people have done and the actual compassion that they've shown to people as they've walked through the door has been very much reflected in the comments that we've received back from members of the public. And can I just say, I am very biased when it comes to how Wigan works, but I think I'm absolutely so proud of how it was delivered, and certainly by all the professionals and all the volunteers that stood up to the mark and really made a difference to people's lives. Let us not forget, you've probably touched so many lives of people in this borough. You'll never get the full thanks from each and every individual one. But I can tell you something now. If it hadn't have been for the actions of you as a professional and volunteer workforce, a lot of people wouldn't have been here today to celebrate Christmas this year. So can I thank you all very much from the bottom of my heart. And on behalf of the council, the staff, the councillors, and all the people of this borough, thank you very much for the dedication that you've all shown over this last 18 months, 20 months, and who knows what's in front of us. So thank you very much.
Thank you for that, Councillor Molyneux. That's really touching and really gratefully received, I'm sure, by all of our volunteers, as I say, have gone hand in hand with our paid staff and our individuals from all our organisations. We're equally grateful for the work that we've had to outreach to our communities, because we can have a service here, but equally unless we get our population to engage with us, to have the vaccine. And again, this is where that civic leadership from both our local councillors and our MPs has been so vital to talk to have those conversations along with those clinical conversations with our public. And so with that in mind, we've also asked all three of our local MPs, could they help and support us on tonight's event? And all three, again, were really delighted and pleased to have the opportunity just to express their thanks to you, to our staff, to our teams and our volunteers for all the work you've done. So we've got just three brief video messages from our MPs.
I'd just like to say a big thank you to each and every one of you who've worked so hard to keep the borough safe during this really difficult time. From the people who've delivered the vaccinations to those who've made sure that the seats were safe to those checking us in, you've all gone above and beyond. Thank you all very much indeed.
I am pleased to thank and support the Wigan and Lee COVID vaccine team for the incredible work that they have done this year in order to get as many people vaccinated as possible. We've had incredibly high uptake rates, especially amongst the elderly and vulnerable. And it's been an incredible job to do that well in a town like Lee, where obviously some people might feel slightly worried about coming forward for the vaccine. But the message has gone out there brilliantly, the reassurance has been brilliant, and we've had a fantastic result. Thank you again for all your incredible efforts on this.
I want to say a huge thank you to everybody involved in the vaccination effort here in Wigan. I've been incredibly proud to visit vaccination centres across the borough and see one of the best vaccine rollouts in the country taking place right here. It's meant so much to people locally, the families who've been apart for too long, the businesses that haven't been able to open, that it's been so successful. And I just want to thank every single one of you, whether staff or volunteers, not just for what you've done, but the way in which you've gone about it, supporting people, looking after people, making people feel at ease. It really has been one of the most incredible efforts. Thank you so much.
Okay, so again, I think thank you to all three of our MPs and to Councillor Molyneux for really showing that appreciation and thanks. Vaccination, as I said, is not just about the health benefits for the individual receiving the vaccine. It's for their physical and emotional wellness, their ability to keep working, the ability for us as a society to function, and we as a team have done so much together. So we've now got a couple more songs from the choir before we start to bring things to a conclusion. So hopefully, if the technology allows, we'll have a couple more songs.
Peace on
very much. And again, really thanks to the Chorley Guild Singers for all they've done to help us today. We were originally planning to do these as actual physical events, but clearly, unfortunately, with the way that the Omicron had moved, we had to go to a virtual session. And we did have a second choir, the Wigan Musical Theatre, who was also going to join us, but we've had to move to the digital way. We couldn't accommodate that. I suppose to reflect on what I've heard tonight, I think we've heard is the COVID vaccination programme has done something extraordinary, but it reflects so much of what Wigan is like. It's about people coming together, people supporting each other, people supporting their neighbours, their communities, their focus on wellness, but also on living and enjoying. And tonight has been hopefully a celebration of that living that we've done together. It's estimated that the COVID vaccination programme in the Borough has saved between 700 and 800 lives. So there's 700 and 800 people today who are alive because of the work that has happened. But even more than that, there are so many tens of thousands of people who would have been touched by those people who would have died and those people who would have been damaged. And they are equally there because of what's gone on. But also that restoration of society. Yes, things got a little bit tough at the moment, but if you think back to this time last year, it was far tougher because of the huge volume of vaccinations that have been done. Now, we absolutely recognise that we are asking a lot more of you at the moment because of the need to really get the boosters into people. And we appreciate we maybe even being unreasonable, but we really do need your support for one last go to get more vaccinations into more arms to keep our public as healthy and as well as we can. So thank you for all that you've done to help us as staff, as volunteers. You've all gone so much beyond and above anything that we could reasonably expect. There are just a couple of thank yous for tonight. So again, we'd really like to thank our speakers and our local MPs who fought without thought or care, have really stood up and helped us both tonight and over the last 12 months, along with all the local organisations who've stood side by side with general practice. So that's our council, our CCG, our federations, our PCNs, our leisure trust and our hospital. Together we have done this, and without any of us being in the park room, none of us would have been successful as we have been. We would just like to pay a tribute also to a couple of our local supermarkets, Asda and Morrison, who have actually in the last few days donated tremendous amounts of mince pies to the vaccine centres. Now, don't tell our Director of Public Health because we don't want her to know that we're giving you unhealthy stuff, but it's a treat. Please use it to keep you going, but keep it quiet. I would also just like to finally thank our organising committee who's brought this all together. So on behalf, we put out a call from general practice leadership, and unfailingly, Wendy Fairhurst stepped up, I did Craig Collier, Yvonne Hughes, Manny Raganfan and Saeed Shah, and they've really helped us pull this all together. I think particularly I'd like to also thank Alexia Mitten, who's helped us and made tonight so professional, right up until I got in the way of getting the video going. So thank you for pulling this all together for us, and really thanks for your attendance tonight. So we're going to go out, I hope, on one last song with a few more bits of pictures over the top of it. But really, thank you for your time tonight. Thank you for your energy and enthusiasm. And equally, thank you for what I know you're going to do in the coming days, weeks and months. We really do appreciate all of it. So thank you very much.
Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Let your heart be light. From now on, our troubles will be out of sight. Let your heart be light. From now on, our troubles will be out of sight. Let your heart be light. From now on, our troubles will be out of sight. Let your heart be light. From now on, our troubles will be out of sight. Let your heart be light. From now on, our troubles will be out of sight. Let your heart be light. From now on, our troubles will be out of sight. Let your heart be light. From now on, our troubles will be out of sight. Let your heart be light. From now on, our troubles will be out of sight. Let your heart be light. From now on, our troubles will be out of sight. Let your heart be light. From now on, our troubles will be out of sight. Let your heart be light. From now on, our troubles will be out of sight. Let your heart be light. From now on, our troubles will be out of sight. Let your heart be light. From now on, our troubles will be out of sight. Let your heart be light. From now on, our troubles will be out of sight. Let your heart be light. From now on, our troubles will be out of sight. Let your heart be light. From now on, our troubles will be out of sight. Let your heart be light. From now
on, Janet. Come on, love. And Ellie.